Today I'm excited to be participating in a challenge hosted by Jamie of Border Bananas. She also has a second channel, Border Bananas DIY. I love following her along with her on her thrifting adventures. I love seeing what she has gotten, and she does some wonderful upcycles on a lot of the stuff she picks up. So I highly recommend you check out her channel. I will have it listed in the description box down below, as well as the playlist. You don't want to miss it. So without further ado, let's get started. My daddy made this shadow box, and I think it's adorable, but it's simply not in style anymore. So I want to give it an upcycle, and I'm going to remove the doors, and I'm not going to use the doors this time, but I'm going to save the doors for a future project. I took the hanger off of the back, and I thought my camera was on, but it wasn't. So I'm just showing you where I took the hanger off. And I also gave a good sand into the back because stain varnish that he had used had kind of gathered up. So I'm just sanding that down smooth. The front and the inside was fine. Once I got the doors off, I just sanded down where the screw holes had been. And I went ahead and did it on the doors too, because like I said, I'm going to use it for a future project. When I finished sanding, I just put some spackle in all of the holes. And I did this for the doors as well. Once my spackle dried, I came back through and just sanded it down smooth. Once I finished sanding and wiping it down, I took one of these signs from Dollar Tree and I cut it to size. It covered the holes perfectly. And I just measured where I was going to cut it and cut it with a case cutter. I just scored it a few times and then I just broke it apart and cleaned the edges. I attached the sign to the bottom of my box just with a few nails in the corners and then along the edge. Once everything was done, I painted the whole thing in Waverly chalk paint and ink. I gave it one good coat. My supervisor really was keeping her eyes on me. Once I got it painted, I let it completely dry. After it was dry, I painted it with Waverly chalk paint in white, and it took quite a few coats to get it covered. On my Cricut, I created a design that I liked. I made a stencil using Dollar Tree's contact paper. I weeded out the center part and then transferred it to the box using Dollar Tree clear contact paper for transfer tape. I removed the backing of my stencil and then applied it to my box, measuring to make sure I got it centered. Once it was centered, I pressed down to make sure my stencil was on tightly, and then I removed my transfer tape. Using very little paint, I used a stencil brush and just stenciled everything onto my box. I didn't want it to be a solid coating because I was going to distress the box. And I used the Waverly chalk paint and ink. Once I finished stenciling it, I removed my stencil from the box, and I just love how it turned out. I love the reveal. That's the best part of stenciling. I let the stencil dry, but the rest of the box I started just distressing with sandpaper. I mainly hit the edges, the corners, and all the sharp angles. When my stencil dried, I gave everything a light sanding, smooth out everything, the paint, so that it would be smooth to the touch. And I also wanted to distress my stencil. I wanted it to look weathered. Once I finished sanding, I gave it a coat of the Minwax finishing paste. It just brings a little something extra to it. And here's my finished project. I'm very happy with the way it turned out. I'm not sure how I'm going to use this. I thought about using it on a coffee bar, somewhere in my kitchen. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you hadn't. Ring that bell so you can be notified when I upload new videos. Thank you, Jamie, for hosting this challenge. And until next time, bye, y'all.